Good evening, everyone. This is the third installment in a series of three community open houses for the Vincent Thomas Bridge Deck Replacement Project as we head into construction. I want to thank you all for taking the time out of your evening to join us. It's about a 2-hour meeting. A discussion period will follow the presentation that Caltrans will give. You'll hear from a number of Caltrans subject matter experts working on the project from our Division of Construction, Traffic Safety, Project Management, covering numerous topics about the stages of construction, traffic impacts, and what we've done to mitigate those traffic impacts. So I'll begin by giving a short overview of the project. The Vincent Thomas Bridge is located on State Route 47 in between Terminal Island and San Pedro. It carries about 53,000 daily trips. 9% of those are commercial trucks. The purpose of the bridge deck replacement project is to improve the structural integrity of the bridge and improve overall safety for the traveling public and maintenance workers. Vincent Thomas Bridge was built in 1963, and over the 60 years of service that it's been in place, the region has nearly doubled in population. The ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach have become the world's busiest ports for containerized cargo. The structure of the bridge is still strong, but inspections of the bridge have found that the concrete bridge deck itself is deteriorating and is in need of repair. You'll see the existing conditions of the concrete bridge deck. Maintenance crews are required on a weekly basis now to close lanes of the bridge, causing disruptions for motorists and industries located around the bridge. Annual maintenance costs for the bridge are about $1 million and exceeding that every year. Also an emergency project over the last year that caused a $7 million unexpected cost for maintenance to the state, which is ongoing to this day. I'm hearing from my project team that you all may not be able to hear me in the audience. If you're in the audience, could you please submit a chat to one of the panelists or all the panelists and let us know if you're unable to hear us? Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that feedback. I'll speak up. Hopefully the audio will even out as other panelists from the Caltrans team take over from me after this. So now more about the project schedule. I'll ask the project manager, Rima, to take over.
Thank you, Nathan. I can hear everyone now. Thank you. So Caltrans launched this project in February 2023 with the environmental phase completed in fall of 2024 and design phase completed in fall of 2025. We're now in the construction phase, which began in January of this year. Construction work is divided into 3 phases: pre-full closure, full closure, and post-full closure. And our next speaker will provide you detailed overview of those phases. Next slide, please. Let's look at our project milestones. Since starting in 2023, we've moved through public scoping, circulated the draft environmental impact report, and held public hearings in spring, summer of 2024. By fall 2024, we processed public and agencies' feedbacks and finalized the selection of the build alternative with full bridge closure option. In winter 24-25, we held traffic management plan development meetings. Now we are actively continuing our community and stakeholder outreach, which also will be discussed in details later tonight. And today we're having virtual open house. We had 2 in-person open houses. in San Pedro and in Wilmington 2 weeks ago. We're also developing a media campaign to be launched ahead of the full closure in November. Next will be Andy.
All right, thank you, Rimad. Hi, everybody. My name is Andy Chen. Good evening first. My name is Andy Chen. I'm a bridge construction engineer for this project. And now for the next few minutes, I'm going to talk about construction, such as how many stages are there, what kind of stages are there, and what are we going to do under each different stage. So just want to make sure that before I start, can everybody hear me fine? Diana, thumbs up if you can hear me fine. All right, thank you. So just like Rima mentioned earlier, there are total 3 stages during the construction. The first one is a pre-foreclosure stage. It will start from March 2026 to October 2026, which means that we are already in pre-foreclosure stage at this moment. And after pre-foreclosure stage, there will be foreclosure stage. That will be from November 2026 to February 2028, approximately 16 months. And our final stage is a post-foreclosure stage. That will be from March 2028 to March 2029. That will be about 12 months. And this project, the contractors, joint venture, Skanska and CEC. Due to the magnitude of this project, therefore, we have 2 contractors working simultaneously, and they are great contractors. All right, next slide, please. So we are going to talk about the pre-foreclosure stage now. Once again, I'm going to repeat a lot of dates, and I think those are very important information for everybody. So once again, for the pre-foreclosure stage, we will start from March 23rd, 2026 to October 30th, 2026. And those are the 5 major tasks we are going to do under this stage. The first, as we are doing it right now, we're going to install protective shield. And of course, the purpose for this protective shielding is to protect the people, the local business, and also the waterway underneath the bridge. And later on, we're going to install the working platform, which can provide immediate access for those workers under the deck so that we can expedite the work. And we're going to install 2 temporary, we already installed 2 temporary stair towers, which is increase the access point for those workers. And the sole purpose is also to expedite the work. We are going to install the structural bracing, which will be the second half of this year. Those structural bracing, the purpose for them is to ensure the bridge stability during the construction, especially after the deck is removed. And of course, we are going to resurface the local street that's going to be used as a detour route prior to the foreclosure. So those are the 5 major tasks that we are going to do during this stage, the pre-foreclosure stage. Next slide, please. And so for the pre-foreclosure stage, what kind of impact is going to be? During this stage, we're going to have overnight one-directional bridge closure on every weekdays. It was on Sunday night to Friday morning. And for the westbound, we will close from 10:45 p.m. to 6:45 a.m. And it will be 9:45 p.m. start on Sundays. And for the eastbound, we will start the closure at 10:15 p.m. to 6:45 a.m. And there will be some potential weekend closure due to the progress of the work. And the local road lane closure will start from mid-July to October 30th, 2026. That is when are we going to resurface the detour route. And we will provide the closure notification through emails. All right, next slide, please. And here's a picture of the the protective shielding I was talking about earlier. This picture was taken in 2011. We are going to use the same system as shown on this picture this time too. So this is not something new to us. So the concept is that we are going to utilize those directional 90 closure. We are going to assemble those decks, those platforms on top of the deck. Once it reaches to certain area, then we will lower it with the crane and hang underneath the bridge. So this is a protective cover we are going to use this time, and we are installing them right now. Next slide, please. And here is the bracing I was talking about earlier. We are going to have a temporary bracing at every bend at approach span. And so the purpose for those temporary bracing is to ensure the bridge stability during the construction, especially after the deck is removed. Next slide, please. And here is a map for all the local street we are going to resurface. The blue line means that we're going to resurface the entire street, such as Henry Bridge Boulevard. And yellow dotted line means that we're going to restripe that street, such as Anaheim Street. And the yellow circle are those the one that we are going to restriping intersection. And red triangle, that's where we're gonna put in the temporary traffic signal. Next slide, please. So here's some detail about those local street improvement. We're gonna resurface the entire Harry Bridge Boulevard. As for the Alameda Street, we're gonna resurface from Key Avenue to after George De La Torre Jr. Avenue, and from Anaheim Street to Denny Street. As for the Henry Ford Avenue, we will resurface a short segment south of the Anaheim Street. And as for the Anaheim Street, we are going to resurface a short segment between Alameda Street and Henry Ford Avenue, and also the intersection of the Anaheim Street and the Henry Ford Avenue. Next slide, please. So that was for the pre-foreclosure. Now we are going to talk about the foreclosure stage. So during the foreclosure stage, that's where the deck replacement is going to happen. Once again, it's going to start from November 1st, 2026 to February 28, 2028. That will be about 16 months. And this will be a foreclosure, which means that the bridge will be completely shut down to the traffic. And we are going to work 7 days a week and 2 shifts per day. It could be from 10 hours per shift or to 12 hours per shift. It depends on the progress of the contract. Next slide, please. And here are the major activities that we are going to do during the foreclosure stage. Once again, is from November 1st, 2026 to February 28, 2028. We are going to replace the bridge deck. This time we're not gonna break them. We're going to cut them section by section, pick them out section by section, and replace them section by section by the precast concrete panel. And after that, we're going to reconstruct the bridge railing and also reconstruct the median barrier, because we take out the deck, right? We have to replace those railing and also the barrier. We are going to reconstruct the drainage. We are going to replace the seismic sensors. We are going to construct the overhead signage. So all of this work we will finish within 16 months, from November 1st, 2026 to February 28, 2028. Next slide, please. So that is for the foreclosure stage. Now we are going to talk about the post-foreclosure stage. Post-foreclosure stage will be from March 2028 to March 2029, approximately 12 months. There are 2 types of work during this stage. One's a permanent, one's temporary. As for the permanent, we are going to install permanent under deck utility support. And then we are going to hand the utilities under those supports. And we are going to complete some punch list items and also install new drainage system at the seismic joints. So those are the permanent work. As for the temporary work, we are going to remove everything that we installed during the pre-foreclosure stage, such as the platform, the protective shield, the stair towers, and also the structural bracing. So those are the works that we are going to do during the post-foreclosure stage. Next slide, please. So what kind of impact we're gonna have during the post-foreclosure stage? Once again, the post-foreclosure stage will start from March 2028 to March 2029. You will have the same closure as the pre-foreclosure stage, which is overnight one directional closure. For the westbound direction, it was same thing from the 10:45 p.m. to 6:45 a.m. For the eastbound direction, it will be from 10:15 p.m. to 6:45 a.m. And there will also be potential weekend closure, depends on the construction progress. Next slide, please. All right, so this will conclude my presentation today. I will pass the microphone back to Nathan.
Yeah, I'll take it. And I wanted to let folks know there's a question and answer function in the WebEx application. You'll be able to access that either at the bottom of your window or over to one of the sides. Amy Erickson has already submitted a question, so thank you for that. We will address all the questions that are submitted at the end of the presentation, and we'll also give folks the opportunity to raise their hand, and that will allow us to unmute your microphone and have you verbalize a question that way. So looking forward to the discussion period after our presentation, but next up for the content will be Ken Young to speak about the detours and traffic management plan.
Thank you, Nathan. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ken Young. I'm the office chief with the Office of District Traffic Manager. Me and my team work to collaborate with our partners, with our stakeholders towards the development of the traffic management plan, which includes the detours and mitigation thereof, and including use of assets and strategies. Next slide. In terms of the closure that's occurring right now, for the most part on the westbound direction, and because we do not have the benefit of utilizing the official signed detour heavy bridges, our priority is to maximize the use of the state highway system while minimizing impacts on the local road. So from the Terminal Island side or Long Beach side, the detour is to use 47 North to 103 to 1 PCH west to 110 to San Pedro and beyond. And other reaches of Long Beach, the detour could be southbound 710 to PCH, westbound to 110. Next slide, please. On the eastbound side, it would essentially be the inverse. From the San Pedro side, the detour would be from the 110 to PCH, eastbound to 103 to 47 to reach Terminal Island, and to go to other reaches of Long Beach. That detour would continue on eastbound on PCH to the 710. I guess another note would be there will be other projects running concurrently with our project. We are working to streamline that coordination, so there should be no concurrent or overlapping activity. And for example, we do have a project with the Port of LA near the interchange of 47 and the Harbor, and we do have there's a future project that will take place on the 710 south of PCH involving the Port of Long Beach. Next slide. In terms of the full closure, we will have the benefit of the detour, which is extending from the 110 Harry Bridges, which transitions to Alameda, Anaheim, and then southerly to Henry Ford to 47. That was the initial identified detour in collaboration with our stakeholders, and in particular the Port of Long Beach, and recognizing that there may be some operational challenges from time to time due to road activity. We've extended the detour from Anaheim Street to the east to connect onto 103 and south on 103 towards 47 and Terminal Island, such that there's unimpeded travel for those who choose to use this alternate route. Next slide. Expanding on what Andy mentioned in terms of improvements along the detour, we will be providing capacity increasing improvements on Harry Bridges Boulevard, namely a third eastbound lane between Route 110 and Access Road. Additionally, there will be a third eastbound lane provided from Anaheim Street from Alameda easterly to Farragut, where there's, if you continue east on Anaheim, there's 3 lanes continue eastbound. So it'll make it more seamless of a transition, and it'll help optimize throughput in the area. And then lastly, on westbound Anaheim at the intersection with Alameda, as it relates to the left turn movements that will be using the detour coming from Terminal Island, we will be providing additional left turn storage. And then other improvements may be more subtle in terms of providing traffic signal timing adjustments to, again, further increase throughput in the area. Next slide. In terms of traffic control officers, these locations were identified in collaboration with our stakeholders. The priority is to focus in on the detour loop on Harry Bridges, Anaheim, Henry Ford, 47, around that loop. And then also that also includes the area that we've extended in terms of the detour. In terms of service hours, the first month or the first few months actually will be the most critical. And we, in conjunction with the city, we expect to have a full force of officers available, and those hours will be on the weekdays. There'll be a expected 13-hour shift starting as early as 6 a.m. and concluding at 7 p.m. And we also have service on weekends, for the most part, beginning in late morning to early evening. The peak period of the port, we understand, is in January, so we should have service that covers that period. Next slide. In terms of our assets, namely cameras, we've, as you can see, that there's quite a bit of them. The white cameras in black running along the state highway system, 405, 710, 47, and 110. There's approximately 38 cameras on that network, so to speak, and we're at about 90% health level, which is, we've come a long ways, because similar to our partners with the city, that there's challenges regarding communication, wire theft, et cetera. So our maintenance personnel have worked tremendously hard to get it to this level to service this project. Additionally, with in collaboration with the city, we've identified locations along the detour route and beyond. We'll be deploying what we call automated work zone information system along our parts of our state highway system, as well as in between, say the 110 and the 710, and this will better allow us the ability to detect roadway conditions and to be able to deploy messaging related to those conditions, so that the motorists are able to get messaging in terms of what's downstream, and to be able to make the best decision possible to use an alternate route to get to their destination. Additionally, we'll be deploying Earth cameras. These are cameras that were utilized in other efforts, namely the Pacific Palisades recovery and rebuilding effort. And we recognize that this project is very important in terms of what it represents to the community, and we're doing our best to provide as many assets as possible to be able to provide the traffic surveillance needed to detect and to respond accordingly. And I think that's it. Back to you, Nathan.
Thank you, Ken. And again, I'm Nathan Bass. I'm a public information officer at Caltrans District 7. Myself and Diana Jimenez are the two public information officers assigned to this project. We are permanent points of contact and cover communication efforts and outreach to the community relating to the deck replacement. So Caltrans has conducted outreach for the project in many different mediums. Notably, Caltrans has hosted several different meeting series. The monthly community advisory and technical advisory committees have each held about 31 iterations. If you joined our technical advisory committee in the past, please note that it has been put on pause for the time being, and you'll be able to continue outreach with us during the community outreach or the community advisory committee meetings, which are on, I believe, the third Wednesday of each month, or the last Wednesday of each month, and our traffic management plan task force meetings. We've also participated in many stakeholder-led meetings, Pacific Merchant Shipping Association's Good Movement Stakeholder Group. This is a monthly meeting group consisting of personnel from the port, terminal operators there, and local agencies such as the City of Los Angeles, Port of Los Angeles. This has helped Caltrans develop mitigation strategies, the work that we're completing overnight, for example, the timing of the overnight work that's going now to minimize conflicts with the port's activities. That group has created several subcommittees to deal with specific issues such as emergency response and communications. Caltrans has also made itself available for community groups and other activities such as speaking forums. Notably, we have attended several chambers of commerce and Rotaries clubs at their request to present on the project. We've also spoken at panels relating to the shipping industry. Our communications methods include press releases. If you're on this meeting, you have more than likely signed up for our notification system that we use to issue these emails. We use text messages for major events, and those are available in English and Spanish. We use social media to amplify all of these communications. Later on in the project, we will implement a paid media campaign in which you'll see notices about the bridge closure and detour routes, or hear them on the radio or see them on billboards or internet traffic. On the right side of the screen is a QR code that you can sign up, that you can use to sign up for our text message and email notifications. You can also find more project information at our website, vtbproject.com. You can contact myself and Diana by email at vtbproject@dot.ca.gov, or follow us on X, Instagram, or Facebook using the handle @vtbproject. Down below are phone numbers for Diana and myself. These are our cell phones, and we are both reachable there. So we are going to head into the question and answer period of the meeting now. I will lower the presentation off the screen and transition over to the question and answer phase. We have 3 questions submitted, I believe, so far. And we'll start with Amy's question. When will the full weekend closures happen? Early in the phase or later? We have a big event in the last week of April all over San Pedro and want to make sure the bridge will be open most of the day, the weekend of April 25 to 26. So I'll ask maybe Andy Chen to answer this, but I can take a swing at it. We don't have any weekend closures planned right now. You can expect the bridge to close at around 9:45 in the evening that Sunday. But as far as we know, we have had no weekend closures scheduled in the project. And I'll ask you to answer this next question from Victor. What about road improvements or repairs during the post-full closure stage? All that detoured traffic will almost assuredly damage the roads.
Yeah, my understanding is once we cease use of the detour, that the road will return back to its usable state.
Okay. And Victor submitted another question. What about roads, surface streets on the west side of the 110 freeway? Regardless of what you call detour routes, drivers will go where they want to, which will include Gaffey and up to connecting streets like Channel, Capitol, Westmont, etc. Those streets will need to be repaired if damaged during the process.
Well, in terms of detour, we have accounted for Gaffey should one And then it will inevitably happen if someone misses the detour at Harry Bridges. They have opportunities to exit at Channel Street, and they have a final opportunity to exit at Harbor, which will ultimately connect them to the frontage roads, which essentially are Pacific to John S. Gibson and back to the detour. And he's absolutely right in terms of people. There'll be people who use the detours, especially those who are not familiar. That's what it was really for. And there'll be those who use other roads that are more familiar with the area. In terms of what we're able to do between the 110 and the 710, we've identified alternative routes for people to utilize to get to the destination of Terminal Island. And that was the focus in terms of beyond that does, those routes that do not connect to the detour, respectfully, those repairs haven't been accounted for areas of which do not apply.
Thank you. Kevin Shin asks, will the various traffic increasing designs for the detours be removed after the project is completed, or will the increased traffic patterns remain?
Sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Will the various traffic increasing designs for the detours be removed after the project is completed, or will they remain? So speaking to the intersections with increased throughput, for example.
Yeah, the improvements are intended to be for the 16-month full closure.
Okay.
And after that, philosophically, they should be removed.
Amy Erickson asked, it said there might be possible weekend closures. Who can we talk to when we know large activities will be happening in this pre or post closure stage? There are also 4 FIFA fan zones in July as well. Amy, you can reach out to Diana and myself, the public information officers on this project. You can email us at vtbproject@dot.ca.gov. That's vtbproject@dot.ca.gov. Regarding the FIFA events in June, July, we don't anticipate impacts now because the work that we're completing throughout this phase will occur overnight, or the closures that are occurring will occur overnight, and not in conflict with the daytime FIFA activities. We'll work with the contractor to minimize any potential impacts that may come in the form of a weekend closure. So we will take note of that and try to incorporate that in our project planning. Amy asked, can we get this slide deck from you? Yes, the presentation and a recording of it will be available on our project website, vtbproject.com. Liz asks, and I see Marcia submitted a question via the chat function. If you could please redirect that through the Q&A. Let us know if you have a hard time finding it. Liz asks, the truck drivers that deliver to businesses within the city of Wilmington, are they made aware of the major streets to use, such as Stanford, Eubank, etc.?
I think whatever the I don't think we place any restrictions on their use. So if it's currently used, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember having placed strategically any kind of restrictions there. So it should still be usable.
Okay. And submitted via the function instead of the Q&A function. Marcia asked, what kind of time delays can we expect? Example, driving from San Pedro to the Queen Mary Dome in Long Beach. It's currently a 20-minute drive.
What was the question again? I'm sorry, Nathan, can you repeat that?
What kind of time delays can we expect? I assume during the full closure period, the example being driving from San Pedro to the Queen Mary in Long Beach.
Okay, so during our environmental phase, we did conduct a traffic operational analysis. We did some demand modeling, assuming that the bridge will be fully closed. And we did set some origin destination route just to kind of see if we have the full closure, how likely is traffic going to travel and the time. And we did see I believe, 11 to 13-minute increase. We did about 8 sample runs from various origin and destination points. From San Pedro to Long Beach, if I recall, we did a few runs from different origin and destination. We did see a 11 to 13-minute increase in travel time. Now, that's just a model, right? That's what the model was, demand model was telling us. But in real life, we shall see, because traffic had to find its way through the path of least resistance. So once we have the full closure, we'll be monitoring, we'll be seeing how traffic will be actually flowing through the different parallel streets within the area. But our model was telling us that we would expect 11 to 13 minutes in that range. I don't recall exactly from San Pedro to Long Beach. My name is Sumei Tan, by the way. I'm with the Caltrans operations. We did oversee the traffic analysis during the environmental phase. That's why I was trying to help answer the questions instead of Ken. Thank you.
Thank you, Sume. And we have a few hands raised in addition to the Q&A section. So I'm going to call on Ms. Adler's name, and you'll be able to unmute your microphone and ask us a question. And if you could try unmuting Ms. Adler on your end, I'm not able, I think, on my end. Or maybe she's not accepting the request to unmute.
Yeah, I have no question.
Oh, okay, yep.
Lower your hand then.
I have no question at this point.
Thank you. And then Shirley, I will try to unmute your microphone.
I have a question. Sometimes when I'm driving, I see the trucks are idling on the bridge and they are blocking the exit lanes. Is there plans to widen the exit lanes or the off ramps so that cars that need to go off those exits aren't blocked by the trucks? Did that make sense? I'm sorry.
It made. Go ahead.
Yeah, I will take that question. Thank you very much for the question. This project just replaces the bridge deck, does not introduce any widening to any on or off ramps.
Okay.
If there's an issue, enforcement, this is potentially something that we can raise to the California Highway Patrol in terms of commercial trucking enforcement. But this project does not add capacity to the highway system.
Okay. I mean, you guys recently redid the off ramp, and I still see, blockage. So, all right.
Thank you. Yeah, and I understand that the project underway at the Harbor Boulevard ramps is a Port of Los Angeles project. Caltrans has been overseeing it, but thank you for your input. We will take note of it and try to get it addressed. Victor Christensen, you have your hand raised. I will try to unmute you.
Okay then. Just to clarify, when Kenneth answered my question earlier, it sounded like he was talking about people missing the exits off the freeway. I was talking about the surface streets that are west of the freeway that have been completely ignored since this project began, and I've mentioned it in writing and verbally multiple times, where regardless of what you call a detour route, people are going to use routes that they want to use. And if that means going on Gaffey and then going up Channel Street, going up Capitol, going up Westmont, up to Western, and going through there, depending on how bad the traffic is on Western, possibly going up into Rancho Palos Verdes, above Western, they're going to do that. And if the damage, or if the roads get damaged because of all that, that needs to be part of the remediation and improvement process after this project is complete in the post completion phase. And if you are not looking into that and are ignoring that and choosing to wash your hands of it, which is what it sounded like Kenneth said, is that you're not going to deal with that. That is poor planning on the project's planning side, and that needs to be fixed because those roads need to be addressed as well if there is damage because of this whole project. Just because you're looking at the east side doesn't mean there's not going to be damage on the west side of the freeway. So please address that and don't just say, well, respectfully, we're not going to handle that.
I'll take that question. Again, thank you very much for this question. The process is for the local agency. In this case, the is that what, Palos Verdes, Rancho Palos Verdes? If the local agency believes that our detour damaged the road, they could reach out to us and ask us to reimburse them for the cost for that agency to bring the road to the condition before the project has started. So in the meantime, we will document the condition pre-foreclosure in case there is a possibility of this road are being damaged beyond the normal wear and tear, given the duration of the project. So we are not really washing our hands. Again, this is a process for that, and we will always abide with the stipulated process.
Thank you, Osama. We have one more hand raised from a gentleman, I believe it's a gentleman, excuse me, Nihar Desai. We've communicated some over the last week. I also saw a hand raised from Denise Marcus or Marquez. If you have a question, feel free to raise your hand again, but for the meantime, I'm going to Nihar.
So the first question is, if stakeholders have a question outside of the meeting timeframes, what is the process there? Who do we contact?
Well, you can contact Nihar, myself, or Diana Jimenez. I believe that you and I have been, or you and Diana have been communicating some over the last week. You can contact us at vtbproject@dot.ca.gov.
So any questions we have outside of this meeting can be directed to yourself or Diana, and we should expect a response as a stakeholder, a reasonable response. You got cut off. Was that a yes? I saw the video. I'm assuming that's a yes.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm not overstepping when I send an email of a question and the response comes in as join the meeting. You know, don't think that's a reasonable response for a stakeholder that's being heavily impacted by your project, heavily impacted. Moving on. When you guys say you're going to resurface Alameda Street, can we actually define what does resurface mean? That particular section from Anaheim to Denny Street. If we're just talking about an overlay over an already completely damaged street, I don't think that's going to be helpful. But what is the plan there for Alameda Street? And are you going to release maybe a section detail or something of that particular resurfacing plan to understand what the plan is there to make sure it's actually addressing the heavy trucks? And this is kind of piggybacking onto what Victor was saying. The local people are not going to follow this detour route. That was the first thing I brought up in the first meeting. They're going to take the local roads, and these roads are going to get torn up, but at least you're resurfacing it, so that's hugely appreciated and welcome. But what does that resurfacing mean, actually?
I'll take that. Resurfacing means we are improving the ride quality so we could get the traffic to traverse these roads in a much better way than it is right now. That's why we are resurfacing it, or resurfacing all roads that are identified as detours, and they need resurfacing before the full closure. However, it does not mean that we're gonna rehab the roadway like a brand new, what you call it, rehab, or a brand new road, because we have limitation on how much we could do outside the state right of way. So this is why, again, we are resurfacing the roads and to improve the ride quality, to encourage traffic to move smoothly. However, under the typical obligations that we have is to bring the project to the condition before the project has started. But in this case, we are more proactive, and we are actually resurfacing the roads, because most of which they are in a bad condition. So we are resurfacing those to, again, to improve the ride quality before our foreclosure could start.
So when you say resurfacing, again, that's not answering the question. We have potholes on Alameda Street that are maybe 4 to 6 inches in depth, and I'm losing the term pothole very, very loosely.
Okay.
You know, and so a resurfacing is not going to fix that. What does resurfacing mean? I mean, what does that mean? Is it a bunch of patches?
I understand more. Okay, what you're gonna do is some areas we're gonna be doing what we call it dig outs.
Okay.
Dig outs means when you get a pothole, it's like we cannot just pave over it. We're gonna have to dig it out and rebuild the structure section, and then resurface it along with the surrounding areas. Basically, that's what we call resurfacing. So if we need to do some dig outs, we're going to do some dig outs, and then we're going to put in a layer of AC, and it's going to make it smooth for the traffic to, again, to traverse without without further delay, or to encourage the improve the ride quality, basically.
Okay.
If I can add to reply to this question, you know that all we're doing, we have to get city's approval, and not only the review and comment, but we already got permit for this work. So it's already been reviewed and approved by your city. So we're good. You're in good hands.
I would love to just believe that, but lots of agencies have failed us in the past, and I get that it's hard for me to put that on you, but is there a section, like what has been identified? So what does the permit actually say? Is there an Alameda Street where you actually did a road survey of where all the potholes are, where the deficiencies are, and where the grind and overlay or whatever needs to be done is going to be done? Has any of that been done on Alameda Street, or is it we'll get out there and start patching?
No, we perform deflection studies and prepare project plans
For Alameda Street,
for the detour routes. Yes, for all of them.
and that's available on the repair work.
I don't know what you mean by available, so I need
We
to
can
get
see them.
Asama's help on that.
Sure. If you've submitted a plan set to the city, are we able to see that on what you're doing on Alameda Street?
Okay, by the way, talking about Alameda Street, especially Alameda South, which is south of Anaheim,
Yes.
the city is planning to tear down the road anyways. And after we open the bridge back to traffic, and they will do some widening, and they're gonna change. They may do some profile changes. So we cannot just like rehab the street 100% and then gets torn down in a couple of years. So again, as we mentioned to you, we're gonna be filling out the potholes, and then we're gonna resurface. We're gonna put a nice layer of AC to improve the ride quality. So you're gonna see much improvement.
Seems like that's the best answer you can give. So
Yes.
we'll move on.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, I know that Ihar, we provided you the illustration of the work that we're going to perform, which lists out all of the different types of improvements that to expect, such as the resurfacing or the spot improvements where there's concrete slabs on Alameda, for example, and other improvements. So you've got that in your email.
No, it was just we're resurfacing. That's it.
Okay, and Andy, I saw that you raised your hand quickly.
Hi, Nihar. This is Andy Chen. I think right now, yes, this is the best answer you're gonna get because we don't have the plan with us right now, and maybe this is a good question that you can send to the email so we can take a look
Don't
at it.
mention that. Don't mention that. So, because that's where it was originally, and the answer is go to the meeting. That's the answer from Caltrans.
Okay, but give it a try again. I mean, Nathan and Diana is here, and we heard you, so give it a try again. So hopefully this time you will get the answer satisfy you.
Sure. And then just the decks on the haul route for the decks. Are those large, oversized routes or oversized pieces, or is it just a standard width, standard length type of deck? And what route is that going to be taking? The actual decks.
You mean the precast panels that
Precast. Correct.
Is someone from construction able to speak to the haul route for the precast panels?
Yeah, I'll take that. The precast panel, each one will be about half of the size of the bridge. Like when you take transversely, like if the bridge is what, 50, like what, 58
2 lanes.
feet? So it's about 27 feet wide, and I forgot it's about 7 to 8 feet long.
So it's going to be oversized loads.
Yes.
Okay.
Not oversized loads. No.
25. Okay.
It depends on the weight. Those are lightweight panels, so it's not as you expect.
Okay. And where are they coming from? Are they, are they going to be using your predefined detour route, or how are they getting to the site?
No, they're gonna come from the freeways, our system mainly.
So they're not oversized, so there's going to be no like significant road closures or anything when those things are moving down to get laid onto the bridge.
No, they shouldn't be.
Okay, Eric Morgan has had his hand raised several times, and he's got it raised now. So I'm going to ask Eric, I saw that your hand was up. It just came down as I was about to click on your microphone. Could you please raise it again if you have a question? Thank you.
Work. I was struck by how you reached and went past the 30 meeting mark for these committee meetings, reaching out to the communities on multiple occasions. So kudos to you and your team. Very difficult, a lot of logistics. It's incredible. My questions would be, yeah, you guys are kind of, yeah, reaching out to the community again and getting questions, and people are starting to put their thinking caps now. Will there be opportunities for more platforms like this as you see things develop in real time? And I know you try to plan as much as you can. I was hoping that at the start of the year that we would stay in a La Nina weather pattern, but I believe I mentioned at one of the previous TAC meetings that what your plans might look like if you had to incorporate inclement weather. And I think you kind of pocketed 13 or so days to allow for inclement weather and kind of bank that into your accounting. So I guess what I'm saying is, yeah, I think initially you guys got questions from community members that some realized immediately that the impact to traffic on the outlying areas would be something for you guys to consider as it some routes get diverted outward past western to the west. I think one person mentioned that, and so these things will probably play out. I'm also being mindful of what the Olympics look like in 2028, and I know there'll be an overlap between when we have the Olympics and when the post-closure schedule, I think, kind of coincides. Just things to put on your radar. I know that you're taking notes of all this, and maybe we can revisit that when we get to that point, because I know you kind of have to keep most of your vision directly ahead of you, but I know down the line there'll be other things to consider. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Regarding your question about community forums ongoing, we of course host a monthly community advisory committee meeting. If you'd like to join that, it's on a Wednesday evening about the same time as this. If you'd like to join that community advisory committee meeting, you can email Diana and myself at vtbproject@dot.ca.gov, and we will get you signed up for that. On the inclement weather, there is a number of days built into our schedule, planning around events such as inclement weather. So our goal is to open the bridge to traffic by March of 2028 after closing it fully in November of this year. And part of that schedule includes or allows for non-working days for instances of things like inclement weather. On the 2028 games, and this sort of ties into a question that we have from Myrna. What impact will the project have on the LA 28 games? If I read the timeline correctly, there's a post-closure period that covers March 2028 to sometime in 2029. We will reopen the bridge to traffic in 2029, or excuse me, in 2028, March of 2028. At which point overnight closures like those which are occurring now will resume. But during the period of the Olympics, Caltrans District 7 is implementing a moratorium on construction. So unless there's an emergency project that comes up, those projects that are in construction will be paused during the period of the Olympics to prevent conflicts between the games route network, which will feature on the highway system, and construction projects occurring on the project system. So to sum it all up, we don't anticipate an issue with our project in the Olympics because construction will be paused. So I believe that exhausts all the questions that we have in the chat. There's a couple comments that are relating to previous questions and answers that were given. We will, of course, take those into consideration. Now, forgive me, there is one question from Tim Fitzhugh. Given the length of the planned closure, the planned full closure, is a ferry service being set up as a temporary bridge replacement? Is that being explored or rejected? That has been explored pretty comprehensively, Tim, the concept of establishing a ferry service between Long Beach and San Pedro, but it was found to be infeasible for numerous reasons, especially the proposal to have that established by the start of our full closure in November. Some of those reasons being a lack of available deck replacement project funds, and the need to secure a ferry service, train workers, find watercraft parking facilities on either side of the bridge for users of those ferries, as well as the need to adequately coordinate with transit operators such as LA Metro, LA DOT, or Torrance Transit, for example, or Long Beach Transit, forgive me, to actually connect people to where they're going after they get off of a ferry. The ferry system is something that's being explored for the LA 28 games, so expect to hear more about this in the future, but for this project, it was found to be infeasible, probably most notably because there's a lack of available deck replacement project funds to spend on mitigation in the form of a ferry.
Just to add to what Nathan just mentioned, it requires its own environmental document to employ a ferry in this particular, connection. We found out it may require its standalone environmental document, which is also time consuming too. So.
Thank you, Osama. And I'll give it just a couple of moments. Oh, I see Phyllis Wood has their hand up. I'm going to unmute the microphone.
Right. Appreciate your time and all your effort and planning. Last year on Labor Day, Conquer the Bridge was canceled 3 days before the race. And will it be able to be held this year in 2026? We have 3,000 participants every year.
Thank you, Phyllis. It was unfortunate that the Conquer the Bridge event was not able to continue. Most recently, I understand that there was an issue with the route, which previously used the Harbor Boulevard ramps that were demolished by the Port of Los Angeles project. And the route couldn't get reapproved. Any application to host that route again, or that event again this year, would be subject to a permanent determination by the Caltrans District 7 Office of Permits. So I don't have a great yes or no on whether that would be able to happen this year. We plan to close the bridge on November 1st, but we have ongoing work every night, closures on the bridge, and work potentially on some weekends. So I guess the best answer I can give you is please work with the District 7 Office of Permits to apply to host that event on the bridge. We look forward to having that event again in the future, though, and it's unfortunate that it couldn't occur.
Oh, excuse me, what department should it be? District?
The District 7 Office of Permits. And if you contact myself at vtbproject@dot.ca.gov, I can connect you with the personnel in our permits office.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, I believe that is the end of our questions, and will bring us to the end of our presentation. So again, please get in touch with us if you'd like to join our community advisory committee meetings on an ongoing basis. If you didn't get it now, you can visit our project website at vtbproject.com for contact information, as well as to sign up for email and text notifications. At that project website, we will also post this a recording of this meeting and make available for you the presentation slides that were used. So thank you again for taking the time out of your evening to join us. I hope you have a good rest of your day and week. Thank you.